She hated that I was a pig farmer, and was having an affair with a fitness trainer. At our wedding, she even forced me into a mock wedding ceremony with a pig. She locked me in a pigsty, leaving me for dead. But what she never expected was that I, the poor farmer she despised, was the secret heir to a multi-billion-dollar commercial empire. Ethan Sterling. How many times have I told you? I want the limited edition, not this common, entry-level garbage. Tiffany swept back her sweat-soaked hair, raising an eyebrow slightly. She said, "Brad already got it for me. When it arrives, I'll be the only woman in Coastal Haven with this bag." Months ago, Tiffany had sweetly coaxed me, "Honey, the doctor said pregnant women should exercise more. Would you buy me some classes, please?" Meanwhile, I was swamped with work at Whispering Pines Hog Farm, with no time to accompany her. So, without a second thought, I got her a VIP gym membership, but her so-called exercise was doing aerobic exercises in bed with a young, handsome trainer. Over the years, my wife complained that I had a foul odor about me. She ordered me to soak for hours in over 30 kinds of body wash every day before coming home, as if to marinate myself. Tiffany had called me a hick pig farmer countless times. She never let me sleep in her bed. I could only make a makeshift bed on the floor beside it. Even when we were intimate, I had to kneel by the bed to attend to her. But Tiffany would never know. It took half a year of hard work, raising one pig to earn just $500. Today, I walked into the luxury boutique counter, clutching crumpled bills. The sales assistant actually called over the entire staff to stare, as if they'd seen some kind of monster. The women guffawed, their faces full of disdain. "This money isn't even enough to clean our floors. It's too dirty." I pleaded humbly for a long time, before they reluctantly sold me the bag, which cost tens of thousands of dollars. When it was time to pay, I knelt on the ground, counting the bills one by one, for a full 2 hours. They weren't done yet. They even filmed me counting the money and uploaded it online. Netizens mercilessly humiliated me. Yet now, that very bag lay trampled under her feet, covered in black shoe prints. Torturously digging my nails into my palm, my mind suddenly drifted. I never thought of pig farming as a lowly profession. My grandfather started his fortune by raising pigs. That's how he founded the Sterling Group, a leading agro-industry conglomerate worth hundreds of billions, controlling the nation's food supply. To marry my ordinary first love, I had to accept the 99 trials my father set. Now, the 3-year trial period was over. After tonight, the pig farmer husband Tiffany despised the most would be the Sterling family's head, a position far beyond her reach. I heard my own voice, with a hint of sarcasm. "Tiffany, all you talk about is your Brad. When you're in bed with him, do you even remember that you're my wife?" She chuckled indifferently. The loving partner I once knew had become a stranger. "Since you already know, I can't be bothered to pretend anymore. Ethan Sterling, you've been feeding me empty promises, saying I'd make a fortune right after marrying you." A mocking smirk played on her lips. "You were just lying to me." But I hadn't said a single false word. My father was indeed about to hand over the chairman's position to me, no longer explaining. I replied coldly, "Tiffany, in all these years we've been together, which promise have I not delivered on?" She scoffed. "Ha, what does that matter? My girlfriends who married into wealthy families are already living the lives of wealthy wives, and you, busy all day, earning less than Brad, who owns a gym." She stepped forward, digging her finger viciously into my chest. "You make me wait half a year just to buy me a bag. Who wants your filthy money from pig farming?" With that, she turned to Brad, her gaze instantly softening. "Brad isn't just rich. He has a great physique. He's much more energetic in bed than you are." Tiffany's hand, like a snake, wrapped around his muscular arm. This scene stung my eyes. To support my wife's extravagant lifestyle, and to gather money to buy her a bag as a Valentine's Day gift, I worked from morning till night at Whispering Pines Hog Farm. In just 1 month, I lost over 10 pounds. Now I was a mere skeleton, yet I hadn't received a single word of sympathy or gratitude from her. At that moment, the blood in my veins ran cold, inch by inch. I looked at her with cold eyes. "Tiffany, let's get a divorce. Let's go our separate ways. I won't interfere with anything you want to do from now on." Hearing this, Tiffany looked up, signaling her lover. "Brad grabbed me like a chick and dragged me to the pigsty outside." "Ethan Sterling, you dare to divorce me? Are you tired of living?" Her red lips curled. "You're free servant, and I find you quite convenient." Yes, even when Tiffany partied all night with her girlfriends at the club, when she stumbled back drunk, I never uttered a single complaint. I even knelt to wipe her face and change her clothes. For 3 years, I pampered her beyond measure, but she took me for granted. My phone vibrated then. It was a text message from Councilman Davis. He said fawningly, "Young Master Sterling, Mr. Sterling said you've passed the trials. Tonight, it'll be brought back to Capital City. Don't forget our favors in Coastal Haven then." I hadn't even finished reading when she snatched the phone from my hand and tossed it into the water trough. Tiffany casually picked up a stone from the pigsty floor and smashed it hard against my head. Blood gushed from the wound on my forehead, and my head started to spin from blood loss. Ethan Sterling, I am talking to you. What are you looking at your phone for? In our 5 years of dating, whenever I was with her, I never answered calls or checked messages, because she was my everything. No one in the world was more important than her. Yet, my heartfelt devotion and respect for my lover were exchanged for reckless betrayal. Brad chuckled at her words. "Baby, don't get angry with that loser. Divorce him. I've made a lot of money over the years. He'll buy you anything you want. Besides, you might even be carrying my child." Hearing this, the pain and betrayal made me laugh almost hysterically. As I laughed, tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. All my efforts, and I married such a wonderful wife, who doesn't even know if the child is mine. Tiffany glanced at me, a hint of pity in her eyes. "Ethan Sterling, a pig farmer like you, dreaming of me having children with you. I'd rather have a child with good genes like Brad's." It was laughable that I once woke up early and worked late to earn money, just so my pregnant wife could eat nutritious supplements. She thought they tasted bad, and turned around to pour the bowl into the pig trough, giving it to the livestock as an extra meal. Now, Tiffany even despised my genes, claiming I was unworthy of her. No longer able to endure it, I struggled to lunge at her. "I'll kill you, you vicious woman." But Brad easily pushed me aside. I fell to the ground, struggling to get back up for a long time. Just then, Buster, the yellow dog, who had been guarding nearby, suddenly barked wildly. Its cries were incredibly mournful, as if shouting out the unspeakable grievances in my heart. But Brad's muscular build was no joke. He raised his leg and kicked Buster away. Looking around, he picked up a sharp pitchfork nearby and manipulated it in his hands. Staring menacingly at Buster, he advanced step by step. Seeing this, my heart raced with anxiety. I turned and shouted, "Buster, run. Don't worry about me, just go." But it was always loyal to its master and refused to move an inch. I endured the intense pain in my heart and humiliatingly knelt down, banging my head heavily against the ground. My voice trembling, I spoke to Tiffany. "Please, my wife, I beg you, I'll do anything you ask. Just don't hurt Buster. It was my mother's most cherished pet during her lifetime. It's the last keepsake she left me." Tiffany, however, chuckled coldly, fiddling with her freshly manicured nails. Her red lips parted and closed. "Brad, do it. Later, he'll make dog meat stew for a late-night snack. It's really tasty. You haven't tried it, have you?" As her words fell, a cold glint flashed, flesh and blood splattered, ending the loyal dog's life. My tears, mixed with blood, instantly streamed down my face. Tiffany's beautiful lips uttered the most vicious words. One by one, that wretched dog's eyes were so pitiful, it died with its eyes still wide open. Then, she burst into unrestrained laughter. I never knew dogs could cry. She gouged out Buster's eyes with a knife, and tossed them into the nearby pigsty. The fat, large-headed pigs surrounded them and devoured them in the blink of an eye, leaving only a pool of blood on the ground. At that moment, I clutched my chest tightly. It hurt so much. It turned out that when grief reaches its peak, it truly feels like a physical ache in your heart. When I looked up again, my eyes were filled with uncontrollable hatred. Buster was with me for 13 years, almost half my life. My eyes were bloodshot and red, as if a demon from hell. Rage surged within me, and with a trembling hand, I swore to the heavens, "Tiffany, I will repay you tenfold for what you did to it." Seeing that I wanted to continue speaking, Brad dragged me and forcibly shoved my head into the pig feeder. The pungent stench filled my mouth, making me gag. I wanted to vomit my guts out. Tiffany merely chuckled indifferently. "Ethan Sterling, are you finally quiet now? Look at you, what's the difference between you and a pig now? You know what? You better off marrying a so." She again used the wedding incident to humiliate me. The immense humiliation threatened to crush me. Tiffany slapped the divorce papers and a share transfer agreement onto my face, forcing me to sign. My heart felt bitter, and I clenched my fist tighter. I said coldly, "You too will regret this. Tiffany, did I ever tell you I am actually the only son of the Sterling Group's chairman?" At this, Brad finally started to panic a little. I just checked my phone, and young Master Sterling does indeed share the same name as him. Baby, what if he's telling the truth? Tiffany froze for a few seconds. Then a mocking expression appeared on her face. Look at you, getting scared by him so easily. Ethan Sterling, do you really think just because you share a surname with the Sterling Group, you're one of them? By that logic, since my surname is he, does that mean I am the real daughter of the Macau Casino King? After saying that, they looked at each other and actually clapped their hands and burst into laughter. It was getting late, and Tiffany was growing sleepy. She just wanted to finish punishing me quickly. She had Brad push me into a pigsty. She casually picked up a nearby syringe, injected me with a sedative, and then injected the boar with over a dozen doses of hormones. That hand, which had once gently caressed me, now forcefully squeezed my neck. Ethan Sterling, you'll sleep with the pigs here tonight, and tomorrow Brad and I will leave Coastal Haven. Perhaps hearing the commotion, Mr. Rodriguez rushed over, throwing on his coat. Mr. Sterling, Mrs. Sterling, what are you doing? Why aren't you sleeping so late? I thought my salvation had arrived. I looked at him with hopeful eyes. When Mr. Rodriguez got closer and saw the situation in the pigsty, he was severely startled. No matter how much you two quarrel as a couple, you shouldn't do this. He tremblingly pointed at the boar. If it looks up at people, it means it wants to eat people. He broke out in a cold sweat as he spoke. The farm I worked at before was shut down because of a pig-eating human tragedy. The unlucky victim only had a leg segment left when he was found. Tiffany's eyes darted around. Then a thought struck her. That's even better. It'll save us the trouble of burying a body. Every word was like a bolt of lightning striking my head. Mr. Rodriguez, don't meddle in this matter. She waved her hand, not forgetting to promise a reward. As long as Ethan Sterling dies, this pig farm will be yours to run. For some reason, Brad's right eyelid twitched several times. He hesitated. Are you sure nothing will go wrong? Tiffany's brow furrowed, showing her impatience. She looked down at me, only cruelty remaining in her eyes. Since Ethan Sterling loves hugging his piglets all day, then let the pigs give him his final send-off. A light sneer played on her lips. There's no time like the present. Today is our wonderful divorce day. It will also be your death anniversary. Ethan Sterling, as her words fell. The boar, overdosed on hormones, let out a painful howl. Anyone who has raised pigs knows that a pig's eyes are very similar to human eyes. At this moment, its dark, shiny eyes stared at me, its pupils glowing with an eerie light. The beast, with its thick, stocky limbs, constantly advanced towards me. The anesthetic made me unable to move. With a thud, my right ear fell to the ground. All I saw was a mist of blood. I heard the chewing sounds from the boar's mouth. I heard Tiffany's sharp, piercing laughter. Brad was applauding and cheering. I heard Mr. Rodriguez scrambling into the pigsty on his hands and knees. He stammered, Mrs. Sterling. There are many people outside, dozens of bodyguards. His legs buckled, and he knelt on the ground. And a powerful figure who I've only seen on TV, someone who could change Coastal Haven's fate with a snap of his fingers. Councilman Davis, who had previously sent me the text, led a formidable procession. Mr. Jenkins, my butler of over 20 years, rushed to me, exuding an aura of fierce resolve. He gave a cold command, and several bodyguards immediately killed the beast. The sound of a heavy body collapsing echoed, and blood soaked the entire pigsty. Mr. Jenkins disregarded the filth and stepped into the pigsty, helping me up. He shook my arm, his eyes filled with heart-wrenching concern. Young master, can you still hear my voice? You just hold on a little longer. The ambulance is almost here. Seeing my body, which had been pampered for years, ruined to this state, he couldn't help but shed age tears. Wiping his eyes, my young master, you've suffered these past few years. Why were you so stubborn, insisting on marrying that woman? A few years ago, my family was busy arranging my marriage. They introduced me to many young and beautiful women, daughters of prestigious families, or the sole heiresses of political dynasties or business titans. But I stubbornly believed that my first love, Tiffany, was the best. Like a belated rebellious phase, no one in the family could persuade me. Councilman Davis, with trembling hands, picked up the severed ear from the ground. He carefully wrapped it in a clean handkerchief and said to me, "Young Master Sterling, don't worry, I've already arranged for the nation's best surgeons to come by helicopter. They will definitely restore your ear to its original state." They looked at me anxiously, but I remained silent. Lowering my gaze, my heart was filled with endless desolation. At this moment, the bodyguards had already tied up Tiffany and Brad securely. She saw the councilman looking so worried about me. Tiffany's eyes widened instantly in shock, and she trembled all over, her red lips turning pale. Seeing this, Captain Jones, the head bodyguard, stepped forward. "Young master, how do you want to deal with this adulterous pair? We can't let them off easy, or how will you vent all your anger for what you've suffered these past years?" My gaze held nothing but coldness. With a wave of my hand, I had them drag Tiffany away. In a place Tiffany couldn't see, there was no longer any trace of my former tenderness in my eyes. I thought to myself, since they've never believed my identity, this time, even if it kills them, they'll die knowing exactly who I am. Within a mere 5 minutes, police cars cleared the way, and an ambulance ran several red lights. It arrived at the suburban Whispering Pines hog farm at top speed, and I was lifted onto a stretcher. Several surgical masters, truly world-renowned surgeons, rushed into the operating room without catching their breath after disembarking from a helicopter. They raced against time to begin my treatment. Just a wall away, outside the operating room, my butler Mr. Jenkins gave orders, "Watch these two wretches closely. When the young master comes out, it will be their doom. Soon, Mr. Jenkins," his face grim, answered a call. "Mr. Sterling, don't worry. The young master is currently out of danger." He nodded tremblingly. "Yes. I'll send someone to pick you up from the airport shortly." Lying on the cold operating table, during the period of local anesthetic, I recalled many past events. Tiffany and I fell in love during college. We were the most famous campus couple back then. However, I don't know if it's just that feelings inevitably change with time. After she became pregnant, she was no longer the gentle and considerate woman she used to be. Tiffany's moods became erratic and unpredictable. I even caught her crossing the line with male strangers, in chats multiple times while she was gaming, but I endured it all. I constantly reassured myself that it was just me being too busy and neglecting her. As long as the baby was born, our family would be happy again. To distract myself from the heartache, I poured all my attention and energy into my career. After completing my father's 99th trial, I would be able to return to the Sterling Group and take control. From a young age, the family education I received taught me only one thing: people change, but money and power never sleep. I thought to myself. When Tiffany became the chairwoman of the Sterling Group, and tasted the flavor of money and power, she would be utterly devoted to me. No other man could shake my position. But what did I get in return? Her ruthless betrayal, her no longer seeing me as someone worthy of respect, her ordering Brad to kill the dog I had raised for 13 years. Dean Miller and Mr. Peterson had been waiting anxiously outside the operating room. An hour later, they received news, and hurried downstairs to greet the legendary figure to marry Tiffany. I had completely severed ties with my family. I hadn't been home for so many years, and my father, Arthur Sterling, looked over 10 years older, his hair completely grey. This was the first time I realized that my imposing and dignified father would also have a day when he grew old. In front of everyone, I could pretend to be strong, even after Mr. Jenkins rescued me, and I lay on the cold operating table. I hadn't shed a single tear, but the moment I saw my father in the hospital room, I couldn't hold back anymore. I looked up at him, my voice trembling, and said, "Dad, I am so sad. I couldn't protect Buster, the dog my mother left me. I truly know I was wrong. I shouldn't have disobeyed your orders, gone against your wishes, and insisted on marrying Tiffany. I foolishly thought that if I gave my whole heart, I could earn her genuine affection in return." Looking at me crying, my father, Arthur Sterling, felt his heart pierced as if by a knife. "Son, you faced too few setbacks in this world. The family had always protected you well, not giving you a chance to experience the outside world, which is why you were so easily charmed by a woman and lost your heart." His aged hand rested on the back of mine, and he said tenderly, "As a father, I also bear responsibility. I didn't teach you well, which led you to this day, and caused you so much grievance." His low, muffled voice trembled like leaves in the wind. "Before your mother passed, she repeatedly told me to take good care of you, but I broke my promise. The 99 trials I set for you back then were just out of peak. I just hoped that one day, you would face reality. Come back and humbly apologize, and admit your mistake, and I wouldn't pursue it further. Lying in the hospital bed, my heart was again filled with bitterness and sorrow. Heart-wrenching pain, like fire, drilled into my bones. Arthur Sterling sighed heavily. But you and your mother are always the same, so stubborn. Once you've set your mind on something, nothing can sway you. Father and I talked for a long time that day. It was as if we were making up for all the time we had missed over the years. Whenever we talked about my mother, both my father and I would recall many memories of her. Even after she was gone, we never stopped missing her for a moment. It was as if by doing so, she would continue to live in our hearts, and stay with us. Just then, the two people who had been bound, and kneeling on the ground nearby finally couldn't help but plead for mercy. Tiffany's eyes were glistening with tears, brows furrowed, looking utterly terrified. Honey, I truly didn't know you were the young master of the Sterling Group. In all our years of dating, you never mentioned your identity. Tears streamed down her face. If only I had known earlier, I would never have done such a thing. My eyes were half closed, a desolate emptiness in their depths. I didn't speak. The tender moments we shared were consumed by a raging fire, turning to ashes, inch by inch. Saying this, Tiffany crawled on the ground, trying to get closer to me, but my father brutally kicked her away, his face rigid with anger, his eyes held a chilling coldness. He roared, "You two are the ones who ruined my son to this extent." So Tiffany, the woman my son insisted on marrying even against my orders. Arthur Sterling reached out and gripped Tiffany's chin, staring intently at her face. "I truly can't see what charm you possess that could have charmed my son so much that he lost his mind." His chest heaved violently. "I originally thought that my son, in his insistence to marry you, had found his soulmate. Now it seems I was wildly mistaken. He's just an ungrateful viper, who bit my son viciously, almost taking his life." As his words fell, a flicker of disgust crossed his eyes, and he slapped Tiffany across the face. The slap sent the woman sprawling to the ground. Arthur Sterling slowly withdrew his hand, his eyes cold. Tiffany, who had been pampered into lawlessness by me, had never experienced such treatment. Tears immediately streamed down her face. For some reason, an ominous premonition suddenly filled her. It felt as if she was about to lose something important. She urgently looked at me. However, as our eyes met, Tiffany saw not a shred of affection from me. Tiffany's face instantly turned ashen, tears welled in her eyes, and she stammered, "Honey, please, can you forgive me? What happened yesterday was just a joke." Hearing this, I propped myself up in the hospital bed. The hatred in my eyes was like a sharp blade, dissecting her inch by inch. I scoffed, speaking to her, "A joke? Tiffany, your idea of a joke is killing the dog my mother left me, and pushing me into a pigsty, letting that boar humiliate me, is that it?" My fingernails dug deeply into my palm, and blood dripped down. I lowered my gaze, my eyes sharp as knives. A cold smirk played on my lips. "I didn't tell you my identity back then because I didn't want an imbalanced relationship to affect our feelings. I never imagined that in your mouth, that would become the culprit behind our problems." My voice was low and quiet. "Tiffany, don't you feel any shame saying such things?" At this moment, Brad didn't plead for his woman. Instead, he suddenly knelt on the ground, begging me for mercy. "Young Master Sterling, please have mercy and let me go. I had no intention of interfering in your affairs with Tiffany." Brad's face was pale, with a fleeting hint of malice in his eyes. "I just had a moment of weakness. Tiffany had clouded my judgment, which is why I made these mistakes." He collapsed onto the ground, his large body trembling uncontrollably, his head pressed tightly against the ground. "Just dismiss me, young Master Sterling. I'll stay far away from you, go to the ends of the earth, and never cross your path again." Brad clutched my wrist tightly, refusing to let go, his low voice filled with pleading. "If I break my oath, may I die a terrible death, struck by lightning." "Young Master Sterling, please." Tiffany lowered her head, tears welling up and rolling down as she heard this, her voice choked with sobs. "Brad, I never mistreated you, yet now you wish you had no connection to me at all. Are you even a man?" Indescribable pain surged within her heart. Every word seemed squeezed from the depths of her shattered soul. She wished she could kill Brad, sobbing as she screamed, "I divorced Ethan Sterling for you, gave up a comfortable life. You promised you'd take responsibility for me, that you'd make me happy. What is this now? Are you so cowardly and weak that you just want to distance yourself when things get difficult?" My father, Arthur Sterling, didn't want to watch this farce any longer. He turned to me. "Son, How do you want to deal with these two? His voice grim. I'll have my men do as you wish, as long as it lets you vent all your anger. My father, Arthur Sterling, frowned and said, for so many years, your dad never let you suffer much hardship. This time, they dared to treat you like this. Whatever punishment you want for them, your dad supports you. Hearing this, Tiffany felt a chill run through her, her fingers trembling, barely able to stand. Her beautiful face was filled with terror, but my heart was neither sorrowful nor joyful. No love, no hate. That felt good. I sighed softly, with a hint of regret, yet also mockery. Then lock them in the Sterling estate vaults. For generations, the Sterling family has managed its subordinates with the strictest punishments and methods. Looking at Tiffany, my eyes grew colder. Let them taste it too. I wonder how many days they'll survive in the vaults. As my words fell, the Sterling family's loyal bodyguards mercilessly dragged the two away. My father, Arthur Sterling, sat beside me, legs crossed, rubbing the rim of his teacup, condoning all my decisions. Soon, the screams from outside the hospital room were abruptly silenced. After my injuries healed, I attended dozens of blind dates as arranged by my father. Every blind date was a carefully selected woman from a prestigious family, all with gentle dispositions. It was then that I met Luna. She was different from all the other women. Her clear voice rang in my ears. You're here for a blind date arranged by your family, aren't you? I hate these arrangements. What's so great about this upscale bistro? I bet you're tired of it. It'll take you to a small place you've probably never tried. With a hint of playfulness, she winked at me. I don't take just anyone there, you know. Have you thought about it? Do you want to come with me? I smiled and nodded at her. She tilted her head, her eyes clear and bright. That's more like it. Whether it's a blind date or not, it doesn't matter. We definitely need a good meal tonight. To my surprise, Luna took me to a very unassuming spicy noodle joint. She smiled at me and said, I heard you're the only son of the Sterling group. I bet you've never eaten street food like this, have you? You can still refuse now. But I gave her a gentle smile, and chuckled softly. You underestimate me. You probably can't imagine that half a month ago, I was raising pigs in a remote valley in the Ozarks. Hearing about my unusual experience, her eyes widened instantly, a clear spark of surprise lighting them up. A slight smile played on Luna's lips. Oh, wow, I never knew you had such experiences. Quick, tell me about your pig farming days. I love listening to people chat. It's a shame my previous blind dates were all so boring. They were either working in an office, or just back from some university abroad. Their pretentious acts were truly nauseating. We had a very enjoyable chat that night. I learned that she hadn't followed her family's arrangements. Instead, she had started her own venture. She founded an entertainment live streaming company, leading dozens of beautiful female streamers down a path of shared prosperity. I never expected the Song family, who had served in politics for generations, to produce such a rebellious daughter. But in my heart, I liked her very much. I liked her spontaneous energy and the confidence to go after what she wanted. These were qualities I had never felt in myself before. Soon, we became boyfriend and girlfriend. Luna always dragged me to try new activities after I got off work. One day, we had just left a board game cafe. Instead of calling a driver, we chose to walk home. The crisp night air blew past, and my heart stirred with it. Her beautiful, thin lips were still recapping the werewolf, the board game we'd just played. She kept muttering, oh, I underestimated them. I definitely had that round in the bag. Before she could finish, a sedan sped directly towards us. Unable to dodge in time, I could only pull Luna close, but the car showed no sign of stopping. It drove straight towards her. Fortunately, the driver seemed not to see the stone bollard on the road, and the car was forced to stop before it hit us both. The moment she fell to the ground, a strange sound seemed to echo. My body trembled violently, and my breathing hitched. Panicked completely, I clutched her tightly, my voice trembling. Luna, are you hurt anywhere? She weakly raised her hand and waved it, saying to me, the good news is we're alive. The bad news is my calf seems to be fractured. This girl was always like this. Her thought process seemed unusual. Her optimism made me laugh and cry at the same time. But it was this very quality of Luna that attracted me so much. In front of her, I could always be myself freely. Just then, the bodyguards secretly protecting us finally reacted. They rushed forward and dragged the driver out from the driver's seat. I looked closely and saw it was my ex-wife, Tiffany. Her crimson-rimmed eyes were full of hatred. Ethan, I really didn't mean to hurt you. I just wanted to kill this woman. At this moment, Gone was her usual elegance. She was a raving lunatic, like a demon climbed out of hell. If she dies, I can have you forever. I didn't know how she had escaped from the heavily guarded Sterling estate vaults, but when I saw that her left palm was empty, only then did I realize, this woman was not only ruthless to others, but equally ruthless to herself. She had actually severed her own hand to escape the vaults for revenge. At this moment, my body ached as if it had been run over by a tire 1,000 times, and only hatred for her remained in my heart. Captain Jones, the head bodyguard, escorted the unconscious woman to me. "Young Master Sterling, how do you want to deal with this wretched woman? We can't let her off easy, or how will you get your revenge for what you've suffered lately?" My gaze held nothing but coldness. With a wave of my hand, I had them drag Tiffany away. That night, Tiffany was knocked unconscious, stuffed into a sack, and put onto a transport vehicle heading for an isolated facility in a remote territory. From then on, she would become a tool for others' depravity within a compound in that isolated facility. I had specifically instructed them not to let Tiffany be easily broken. I wanted her to know that her survival in this world was not a gift from me, but her most brutal punishment. During the period Luna's leg was fractured, I pushed her wheelchair daily to take her to and from places. Countless women envied her, having someone as influential as me personally caring for her, wishing they had been the ones to save me that night. On this particular day, I left work early to pick her up from her company and take her home. As I pushed her wheelchair along the street, her sharp eyes spotted a small bundle by the roadside. "Ethan, is that a little cat over there? Why isn't it moving? Is it hurt?" Hearing her words, I walked closer. Indeed, a ginger cat was curled up there. It was trembling uncontrollably, letting out constant, pitiful meows. Luna's eyes instantly welled up with tears. She grabbed my hand and shook it frantically. "Why don't we take this little cat home? It looks so pitiful. My heart is breaking." I nodded gently, having had the same thought. So I put the kitten into my bag and took it to the veterinary hospital. After the vet's diagnosis, it seemed the kitten had been abandoned by its mother, then it had accidentally fallen from a height, and its left hind leg showed signs of a fracture. It was already affecting its ability to walk normally. Luna listened, her voice filled with distress. "Doctor, please save it. It's hurt its leg just like me. It's fate. I have to save this cat." A few weeks later, both her leg injury and the cat's had nearly healed. We were trying to decide what to name it. Should we name it Fortune or Ingot? Wouldn't those names sound a bit tacky? She blinked her eyes at me as she asked. My gaze lingered on her deep eyes for a long moment, then I chuckled softly. I ruffled her hair, my eyes brimming with such tenderness. It felt as though you could cup it in your hands, whatever you want. Just then, she suddenly made a surprising discovery. This cat actually has a small birthmark, just like your Buster. I had once told her about Buster's death at the hands of Tiffany and her accomplice, and had even shown her photos of Buster. I paused, taken aback, then said, "How could such a coincidence happen?" Luna thought for a moment. "I know. It must be like this." Her eyes suddenly lit up, and she pulled on my arm. "The spots for puppies in heaven must be full. If Buster waited any longer, he might have been forgotten. So he chose to be a cat this time. And since both are yellow, you should still recognize him." After saying this, Luna nodded sagely, looking absolutely adorable. "Ethan, it's already hard enough to find a truly unique connection. Don't worry too much about the specific breed." Hearing her words, I lowered my gaze, my mind momentarily wandering. After a long silence, I finally heard my own voice. "In the days to come, I won't let it suffer anymore." Luna gently stroked the back of my hand reassuringly. "Our family will definitely be happy." A few days later, I handed Luna the ring I had prepared. I gazed at the woman before me, tears of joy streaming down her face, my eyes filled with tenderness. "My wife, I look forward to our journey together for the rest of our lives."